We're just doing two examples, and I'm going to show, and I'm going to start them off a little bit differently. And you can do it the way that you like it. So yeah, this will make more sense. It's kind of cryptic right now, but it'll make more sense after we've done the two examples, okay? So for this first one, because it says a difference of 18, I'm going to do it one way, and the next one's a little bit different, so I'm going to do it a little bit of a different way, but both could be done both ways, just so you know, if that's helpful. Find the minimum product of two numbers whose difference is 18. What are the two numbers? So the first thing we have to do for a question like this, I don't know how much of this you remember from grade 10, but we have to start doing let statements because there's no variables here or anything like that. The question that we were just doing where you're given the formula, it introduced the variables of h and t. So they were given. When you're not given a variable, you have to say what the variable represents always. If you're ever introducing new variables, you got to say what they represent. So let x represent one number, one of the numbers. Then, if the two numbers have a difference of 18, what can I say is true of the two numbers? So, for example, what does it mean to have a difference of 18? If one of the numbers was 20, what might the other number be? 2. Why? So if I took one number, I'm gonna scribble this on the side. I don't think you want to write this down right now. 20, we subtract 18 to get 2. So my numbers were 20 and 2. What if my first number is 19? What might the other number be? Because there's actually 2 that it could be, but you could add, but let's not do that. So what would it be? 1. And how'd you get that? Subtract 18 to get 1. If one of the numbers was 18, what might the other one be? 0? If one of the number, because I subtracted 18, if one of the numbers is 30, what might the other number be? 30 minus 18 equals 12. So I can always subtract 18 to get 12. You could add 18. That would be fine to do. I just wanted to keep that pattern going, right? You could add as well. Okay. So what we're going to say is then, but if my number is x, what's the other number? Yeah, x minus 18. But you could also actually do x plus 18. It would work. So we say then x minus 18 is the other number. And you don't have to write this. You don't have to write this one down. I'm not going to make you do another let statement, but I'm going to say P is the product of those two numbers, and that's what we're minimizing. So what does product mean? Some people, that's not a word that we use a ton, so sometimes people don't know what it means. It does mean to multiply, so it means you're multiplying the two numbers. So what would it look like to multiply the two numbers? It would be x times x minus 18. And we are minimizing P. And it might be helpful to some people to write that down and think about what you're minimizing. So I said P equals this because the product equals that. And I'm minimizing the product because it says it right here, minimizing the product. How do we find the minimum? We find the vertex, right? We've just talked about all that. That's how you would find a minimum value. So before I can complete the square here, I have to expand and simplify. So I'm doing this. X times x, x times negative 18. So x squared minus 18x. You could do it in the same step, but I'll keep them as separate steps. I take half of 18, that's 9. Square it, that's 81. Add that and subtract that. Then I think about the perfect square trinomial and x minus 9 squared minus 81. Does that make sense? We're okay with that? Remember what I said before. Sometimes we have trouble with this because that didn't really give us the answer, not directly. The answer's in there, but what is it? So it wants us to find the two numbers. And it often wants us to state the product as well. What is the product? But again, if we think about the parabola, and we think about the properties and the transformations, tell me something about this. What direction does it open? It opens up. I'll write this over here maybe. So it opens up. So therefore, it's got a minimum value. What else? It's shifted right 9 and down 81. So the min is negative 81. And it's when x, or what's that? Yeah, x equals, we shifted right 9 because it's x minus 9, so we shifted right 9, so it's when x equals 9. And if you write this out, now you've got your answer. X equals 9. That's one of the numbers. So then we're going to do this. If x equals 9, then I want to do x minus 18, which is 9 minus 18, which is negative 9. Right? Remember we set that up before? The other number is x minus 18. And the product is 9 times negative 9, which is negative 81. And it's not a coincidence that that's the minimum product. So that will always be the min or max value, whatever it is, product or revenue or height of the ball. That number, the vertical shift is always that maximum value. And then when did it happen? When x, whatever that represents, time or numbers, when x equals that. Okay, now we just have to write a therefore statement. It said, what are the two numbers? Therefore, the two numbers are 9 and negative 9. And it didn't say to do this, but sometimes it does, so I'm going to write it anyway. And the min product, the minimum product, is negative 81. Any questions about that? You sure? Really quiet today. You got?
So why did you multiply the 9 into the 9 and negative 9?
I was just kind of thinking about this situation because some people get caught up in the steps of the problem and forget to think about what the question is actually asking. It said the minimum product of two numbers. So take two numbers and multiply them together. And in fact, let's do this. Look, didn't we get a list of them? So 20 and 2 have a difference of 18, yeah? What happens if I multiply them together? 20 times 2 is 40. That's a lot bigger than negative 81. What about 19 times 1? That's 19, still bigger. What about 18 times 0? That's 0, we're getting closer. What about 30 times 12? I don't know, something big. Right, 360? It's way bigger than negative 81. So there's all these different pairs of numbers that are 18 apart. Which pair has the smallest product? And apparently it's 9 and -9, and the product is -81. So that's just why I wrote it down, because I was kind of thinking about what in the world was the question even talking about, right? So there's my first number. I got that when I determined where the minimum occurred. And then the other number was x minus 18. So that's x, which is 9, minus 18, which is -9. And if I multiply them together, I get that minimum product. It was right there too, but I kind of confirms. I kind of like to oh yeah, okay, it all fits and all makes sense. Good question.
When it says the two numbers whose difference is 18, the two numbers are -9 and +9, how is the difference between those two numbers?
9 minus 18 is -9.
I mean, our two numbers is 9 and -9.
Watch. If this is my number line, and this is 0, and this is 9, and this is -9, they're 18 apart. Right? Because there's 9 on this side, and there's 9 on this side, so there's 18 total. Yeah. Little secret that you might notice, questions like this always work out to like 9 and -9, or 8 and -8, or 5 and -5. Like, I'm not saying every question you're going to do works out that way, but these kinds of ones, like, always basically work out to that. So you got to show the steps. You can't just come up with the answer, because you're going to figure out, some of you at least will figure out quickly what the pattern is. It always works out that way. Okay, let's do the last one here. The only difference in this one is it says the sum of the base and the height of a triangle is 21. And that makes our let statements a little bit trickier maybe. So I'm going to show you a different strategy, but the strategy I'm going to show you will always work. So it's up to you how you would, like which one you want to do, or you could always do it the same way, or you can do both, whatever you want. And this one's about a triangle, but it doesn't have to be. It could be the sum of two numbers is 21. You do it exactly the same way. But when it's about a triangle or a rectangle or something, it's a little bit different, just because we need to know the formula for the area of a triangle. Okay, so it says the sum of the base and the height of a triangle is 21. So I'm going to say let B represent the base of the triangle. And I'm going to say let H represent the height. So the reason why this one's different is because I'm using two variables. And the last one I only used one. I only used x. And sometimes you can get away with just using x and then saying like, then x minus 18 is the other number. But you're going to notice that it's not x minus 18 this time. It's different. And it's different in an important way that you have to get it the different way. Like, you got to do it right. And I think it's easier to do it this way. So if I have these two variables, b and h, and it says this, what does sum mean? Yeah, adding them together. So what does that mean? The sum of the base and the height, add them together, b plus h. And then it says is 21. So that's like equals 21. And then I take whichever one of these I want over to the other side. So I'm going to subtract b from both sides. And I'm going to get h equals 21 minus b. And that's just like what I got before when I had x minus 18. But notice that they're reversed. It's 21 minus b. If you did b minus 21, it would be wrong.
Does it matter if we do h plus b equals 20 and we subtract h?
No, that will work. Everybody okay? So this is a useful trick if you can't figure it out in your head. Then this is a useful trick for coming up with this. This is what we need. The 21 minus b is what we need. This is just a little step that gets us there. And I could have done it for the other question if I wanted to. Okay, it would have worked as well. Okay, so now I'm going to do area equals. What's the formula for area of a triangle? Who remembers? Base times height divided by 2. And that's the one that everybody likes to use, but we're going to use a slightly different version because we don't want the divided by 2. So I'm going to do the 1/2, which is the same as dividing by 2. Base times height. We want that 1/2 out front. We can't have it as a divided by 2. You could start with divided by 2, but we'd have to pull it out anyway. And then I'm going to sub this in for h, because that is h. H equals 21 minus b. So I get equals 1/2 base times a height of 21 minus b. And then I expand, simplify, complete the square, because that's how we find the maximum or minimum value. This question is asking us to find the maximum area. So notice I said A equals, and A is getting maximized. Whoops. It's always this thing over here that's getting maximized or minimized, right? It's the max or min y. And that's like my y. Okay, so let's multiply this through and get this question done so you can start doing some work. So I'm going to leave the 1/2 out for now, and I get b times 21, which is 21b, and I get b times negative b, which is negative b squared. And then I have to multiply the 1/2 through. Actually, yeah, I'm going to. You kind of don't have to, but so 1/2 times negative b squared is negative 1/2 b squared. And then plus 1/2 times 21 is 10.5 b. And then I got to keep going because I got to complete the square now. I'm going to come back. Where can I go to finish this? Maybe I can squeeze it in. So I'm going to take the 1/2 out. 10.5 divided by 1/2. Be careful, it's not half of 10.5. Do it on your calculator. 10.5 divided by 1/2, or 0.5, same thing. 21 again. So it's going to be minus 21b, because it's negative 1/2. To complete the square, what do? We take 1/2 of 21, so divide by 2, and then square that. Again, I'm doing that all on my calculator. So I got plus 110.25 minus 110.25. Negative 1/2 b squared minus 21b plus 110.25. Take the negative one out, multiply by what's in front. So now I got to multiply this by 1/2 again. And that gives me, just using my calculator, 55.125. And there we go. Everybody okay? So again, this opens down because of the negative. So it has a max of 55.125 when b equals, when I shift to the right, 10.5. And h So hold on. So B equals 10.5. Remember, that's my base. H is 21 minus B, which is 21 minus 10.5, which works out to 10.5 as well. Look at that. Kind of same thing happened as last time, right? Except they're both positive. So therefore, it says determine the maximum area. But we are finding the dimensions too. Sometimes it asks you to find the base and the height. Sometimes it asks you to find the maximum area. It asks for both. And again, I don't have to do this because I already have the maximum area, but area is 1/2 base times height, which is 1/2 times 10.5 times 10.5, which works out to 55.125. But we already had that. So therefore, the max area is 55.125 centimeters squared when the dimensions are 10.5 centimeters by 10.5 centimeters, and the base and the height are like that.